It is finished. See, those were his last words. As he hung on a cross for 6 hours, he didn't die from blood loss because his hemorrhaging lung was killing him faster. And I bet you didn't learn that from the pastor because they sugarcoat the word and try to preach the sermon faster. And I could spit a fast verse and tell you about my holy dad's hurt as he watched his only son get torn to shreds while his creation made a glad smirk. But would that work? Oh, I'm sorry. I hope that didn't hurt. But if you listened to the last verse, then you would know that we are quickly headed for disaster. So let me paint a picture for you. My dad is a pastor. Let's say he had to watch me, his oldest son, suffocate to death for 6 hours while all of his other kids sat back and laughed. After you realized that you sat by and watched your brother slowly die, as hours passed, would you then have the audacity to ignore your dad because he's calling for you? To be holy, set apart, to stand up. See, I could listen to a sermon and at the altar call I could put my hand up, but what good would that do me if I didn't also choose to man up? Yes, it's a choice. Because God gave us free will, but we're more worried about what Johnny or Susie said and about that same-sex marriage bill. Meanwhile, at Sandy Hook's, a shady crook goes in with an Uzi and sprays, and a whole nation prays, but what is prayer without action but words said in vain? Evidently, it's dozens of innocent children slain because I bet you that man didn't just wake up one day and decide to shoot up an elementary school for some sick game. And I've racked my brain for an answer. And if sinners are the disease, then we hypocrites must be cancer, because when we get to heaven, we'll probably ask the disciples, what was it like to be there with him, to have him stand right beside you? But they'll look back at us and say, well, I was going to ask what it was like to have his spirit live inside you. So we take that for granted, don't we? For things that please us. Let me tell you the story of this man I know. His name is Jesus. He walked the Via del Rosa with a cross on his back, broken and bruised, looking into the faces of his creation, completely heartbroken because they were using the very voices he created to betray him, but still he kept going. And after 6 hours of hanging on to his life, he took my sin and went to hell to tell Satan about his new wife. He walked right past the demons and he stole the keys from Satan. Well, it's not stealing if it was yours in the first place, so he retrieved the keys because after all, he made them. 21,600 seconds is how long he endured for you. That's 6 hours, 360 minutes. By the end of the words I just spoke, I hope your faith hasn't diminished because only chapter 1 is done. We still have the Great Commission. When Jesus spoke his last words, he meant that his job was done because his chapter's been written. So now it's our time to stand up, go forth, and preach the gospel because our chapter, it isn't finished. Because the fact of the matter is, revival is imminent. But it's not going to start till a remnant of intimate Christian men and women can break free from their comfortable tenements, stop being timid, and realize that through Christ, we've been made limitless. Here I am. Send me.